Great. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining in today. Welcome to each one of you who's present here. You guys have taken out your precious time. Thank you so much for joining in. Yeah, thanks, John. This is your host, Vanshika. I'll take care of all your questions, queries. In case you have anything, feel free to drop it in the chat box. We will also have a Q&A session with the speaker by the end of the session. So feel free to drop down your questions. If you have anything, you can raise your hand, drop it in the chat, unmute yourself and talk. So that will be your space entirely. Great. So without further ado, let me introduce you all to the speaker for the day. So today we have with us the COO and co-founder at GoodGist, Mr. Gautam, who today would be guiding us upon how logistics as an industry could twofold the outcome or the revenue that they're generating today with the help of AI automation. Gautam, welcome to the session. Gautam, you're on mute if you're talking.
Hey, thanks, Vanshika, for the introduction, and thanks everyone for joining today. Good morning, good afternoon, based on where you are. First of all, apology on the slight change in timing because of the whole confusion of daylight saving changes. Because of that, we had to do this. So, just a quick background. I have more than 20 years of experience in technology and AI related field, and primarily in domains like finance, industrial automation, then real retail segment, then also in kind of overall digital automation and transformation sector. So in past, what I'd be sharing some of the experiences that we got during the whole journey and how things are changing and what we are doing at GoodGist to help the enterprises to reach to this next level of automation. So I'll share my screen and will continue to talk over that and probably take your questions as well. Vanshika, you have to give me the sharing.
You can share now, Gautam.
So I'll go through a quick presentation, just touching upon what all challenges we are seeing based on the recent past, as well as what at GoodGist we do and what we are offering and what changes we can bring in along with you guys. So we are primarily call ourselves as an agentic workflow automation platform where we use agentic approach to automate different functions of industry, and we using AI agents. So primarily, if you really look at the recent challenges, there's been a lot of opportunity, of course, but there has been a lot of automation that has happened in this whole logistic industry. But more recently, if you see last 3-4 years during and post-pandemic, I think there are certain challenges which has cropped in and where there's been a lot of thoughts and discussions going on in solutions, primarily unpredictable and high transportation cost, and that's primarily due to fuel price changes, driver shortages, increase in demand, and also to add to that, primarily because of the whole war situation at Middle East or even in the European state. So because of that, we have also seen during COVID, there's a huge supply chain disruption because of the war, climate, and the political changes that goes on. Along with that, and these are the challenges which are real challenges that everyone is facing, and we also kind of get to see that. Also, what we have noticed is there has been a lot of automation that has happened in last 20 years. But during these whole automation process, there has been different systems, different technology that has got in. And because of that, there is a problem of interoperability. And that's why one of the key reason of the fragmented communication and the visibility is not there. So one of the challenge is the whole visibility about whole logistic industry. So another thing, of course, that's been always been a challenge is about the forecasting and planning, which actually kind of helps a lot in the whole process of logistic industry. But there's been challenges because of other aspects, which we'll be talking about. So another thing which always we have been seeing is as we are going through, the labor shortage has been continuously a big issue because and the kind of we look at labor's the skill requirements and their efficiency. This has become one of the core issue, and how frequently and how easily we can train them to the next level, how they can sustain along with specifically Industry 5.0 scenario, how they can adjust alongside with automation and tools. That's another aspect. So interoperability, again, as I mentioned, interoperability is one of the big challenge because of diverse systems, diverse rules and regulations, different countries, and how they work together. So how can AI help, and how different companies, along with now generative AI being one of the core part of the whole AI evolution, how and where we can help is these are some of the things, fields that these are the broad categories which I'm sure every one of you are aware of, and can help. AI can help primarily in the whole supply chain, the demand forecasting, and is one of the key challenges that we have worked earlier, to some experience when we were part of IBM, where we worked on a product called product information management, which the data management system. Through that, how we can manage the whole supply chain and how the demand can be forecasted based on different different time of the year, different political scenarios, different changing in rules based on that, and also how the supply can be provided there. So one of the another thing is the route optimization, and this is the challenges continues to grow bigger when there is an international transfer is involved, and that's where a lot of challenges keeps growing up. And if there is a shipment through the sea, then there is a different kind of a challenge continues to be there. So, and that is another thing which now has been a lot of demand has cropped up for the whole supply chain visibility, where a particular pallet has moved in, where exactly it has reached, what is the state of that particular shipment. So these are some of the important questions that the expectation has grown to the real-time basis, how real-time solutions can be provided, and so that if there is any situation need to be taken care of right at that point. Similarly, the inventory management and customer experience is becoming one of the key thing, because in today's world, you have a lot of options, as well as the expectation of customer is very high in terms of how good a service can be provided. The questions can be answered. People are a lot more aware of everything, and that's why a easy and immediate response and informed response is very much required. So another thing which is the connected warehouse. So primarily for this whole automation to fulfill in a proper way, a connected warehouse is extremely important to which basically source the whole availability and forecasting and optimization part. So another thing, so what automating tasks that requires domain expertise, this is another aspect. Till now, a lot of automation has happened, which are robotic in nature or maybe replacing certain functionalities, but the thinking ability or maybe where there is a decision making is required, we still there's a lot of human involvement is there. Now with 5.0, where human becomes the center stage and all rest of the things helps human to function better. A lot of decisions can be taken through domain expertise. And today we have the ability based on Gen AI and a lot of advanced models to create domain expert agents, which can help and support a lot of these industry queries as well as tasks. Just a moment. So I'm sure if you have any points to be conveyed or anything you want to add, please feel free to do so. So in the process, I just want to also touch upon what we do and how we do and what the whole agentic AI platform that we are building, how it is different and what it can solve. So primarily till now, the AI world has used to do a very specific task, and we kind of train them, create different models, and very specific. The thinking ability, this is where we are building in with the a more kind of an autonomous system where it can do four key things. One is it can think, it can do reasoning based on the information available, whatever information you feed in. Then it can plan based on what kind of objective you are asking for, and it can act on that. And this whole exercise, it can do based on the knowledge base that you provide. And this is the knowledge base that can be the domain knowledge. It could be something that is very company specific, organization specific, or based on the knowledge that has an organization has acquired during the process of evolution, based on what all services that have provided or the actions they have done or with the experience they have built in. So that's one of the key thing is the knowledge base, and then the objective. Based on the knowledge base and objective, these agentic AI system and platform can help you build workflow and agents that can do thinking, reasoning, plan, and act. So what GoodGist offers is primarily a platform where you can very easily create, deploy, and scale these kind of agentic AI workflows, where it can help scale really, scale your activities and offload a lot of this human scale work that today we can't to these agents. And it can actually optimize as well as make every part of the task a lot more efficient. So, and which I will show you through the demo today. So some of these, again, these are all every one of you aware of, that there are a lot of work each of us do, even at different sphere of in our industry, where there are a lot of manual interventions are required. There are a lot of data exchange issues, because of which we tend to spend a lot more time on things that probably we don't need to, and rather we kind of do things that is a lot more humans can do and much more efficiently. So some of the differentiators uh, that today our platform provides is uh, one thing is that moment you provide your objective and the knowledge base is built. So whatever it does it and it tells you, it shows you what it has been doing. And there is no black box, absolutely no black box. Whatever is it's doing, it shows you. And also, and that's where you can tell the system back saying that this is where it need to be changed, so you can train very easily on the fly. So another thing which is very important, what we have seen in during our different implementation is the deterministic execution of workflows. So there's been a challenge once we put in more agentic approach to workflow execution, where it takes different kind of decision based on dynamic data and dynamic request. So the execution may change behavior or change its path based on the data and the information available, and also the situation, because the humans thinks that way. And similarly, these agentic workflow would work that way. But what we can do through GoodGIS is that these workflows can be made a lot more deterministic, and where you can only you can ask the system to provide specific decisions wherever it needs to take. Rest of the processes can be a lot more deterministic, and that is where it helps wherever. So the one of the key problem of hallucination, the problem that we have been able to solve by two aspects, doing two things together. One is the whole deterministic execution of workflows, and another is by breaking down all the tasks into very specific tiny agents that performs very specific tasks, and because of which it can it we can manage that there has been no hallucination scenario gets created. And another thing what we do to make sure that there is no hallucination is creating a personas and boundaries through which we can say that these are the boundaries based on which the agent need to work, and beyond that boundary, it should not be generating anything. So it's kind of guardrails that we can provide. That is one of the important aspect what we have been doing. So another one of the again is that what is the how do we get started? What is the cost side of it? So we have been trying to provide a system where anyone can start small. So basically, the scale and cost is really visible, so that you can start small, do smaller tasks, and then you can scale. So the cost effective side is very evident. So we also provide in the whole automation, there are also, we understand and we have seen that there are scenarios where approval is required. There is, however, you have automated the systems, there may be scenarios where you need humans in between. Approvals are required. So we do provide the ability where human in the loop is possible, and the workflows can uh, kind of intimate and take help of human in between. So another aspect of AI which always been there is the continuous learning. So as we create knowledge graph, and when we deploy agents for a particular industry, for a particular task, it continues to learn, and it can learn on its own, as well as it can learn by giving specific instructions, training, feedbacks, and that is one thing what is possible. So the simplicity is another thing which is one thing which we have been always been very particular about, is that creating workflows and making sure that they work in a expected manner is can be done very simple without any code. It should be possible. So we have also a lot of integration that is very easily possible to different systems. There are a lot of built-in connectors. There are new connectors can get created pretty easily. And also another thing is it's not only generative AI, but there are a lot of classical machine learning models that is required for different use cases. Those are also provided and available. So some of these use cases, just trying to touch upon, is that what we have been working on and solving and working with different customers. Customer support and service ticket resolution. This is one common use case everyone is doing, and we have been seeing the same. And there's been a lot of interesting changes and evolution in this particular area, primarily based on the training and domain-centric knowledge by making domain-centric knowledge available. So that's one thing. And then supply chain inventory management is one another thing which we've been able to help customers with to automate that. So there are other verticals also which we have worked with, which may not be directly relatable, but could be that because there is HR is one specific department which is available all the every industry and the entire HR automation, the whole interview process automation, screening, those kind of agents also has been built in our platform. Then again, the email management is one thing which always happens. A lot of request, order requests, purchase requests, all those things still comes through email, and we'll be showing some of the demos on that. Again, the whole sales and marketing related lead management, lead qualification, lead enrichment kind of process also we've been able to develop through the platform. Also the market research, competitive analysis, you can do that. Content generation is absolutely possible for that. And also these content generation, content repurposing from already as well as from different kind of documents which are maybe scratch notes are also possible. Another thing is that very hyper personalized, be the learning as we look at the industry, as the skill requirement is getting changed and it's evolving every, you can say every month or every year, is that as time goes, so the personalized training is becoming as important because based on the individual's ability and requirement, the training and what kind of next move need to be there. So invoice expense processing, financial reporting and analysis. We have customers who have multiple different units from where they would want to collate together, then do financial analysis and also some sort of optimization, identifying where they can improvise. So those kind of use cases are also getting built here. So some of these specific things which we have tried doing in the logistic, primarily on the document review and analysis, specifically there's been a lot of compliance related aspects. I'm sure everyone of you might have faced compliance checks, and especially when in the transportation, when you are shipping one certain goods from one place to another, especially international borders. So those documentation is the compliances are very important. Within internal compliances are very important, up-to-date records. And during in that, there are a lot of error possibility wherever there's a human involvement. So those also We've been able to help email communication management, scheduling. Then data collection, data entry is one of the key thing that we still continue to see where um, there is a skill issue um, because of multiple system involved, as well as there is a human decision making involved as well. So there we've been able to help people to scale in those scenarios, make sure that the data entry is accurate. We revalidate with the source as well as what is expected. Similarly, for content creation, customer service. So these are some of the things which we've been able to do through our product. So there are different domains that we have worked with in healthcare, financial, apart from logistic and supply chain. Um, so this is just to show across. So with this, I will go to the demo. I will show you. So since we've been working on some of the international border, uh, shipment use cases, we'll try to show you a scenario where how we can automate primarily any logistical request that comes in and how a system is able to provide specific information based on what all requirements are there. And then secondly, when they provide the requirements and provide the documentation, it can identify whether there is a mismatch, whether there is a gap in that, and then kind of identify through the domain knowledge it has been created. So I'll just move to the demo. So here is just before as I go into the specific demo, I just want to give a brief on the platform itself. So how this works is that this is a multi-tenant system which we have hosted in Azure. This can be hosted in a specific private cloud as well to provide when someone has their own private network and want to be very secure. So here for different teams, we call something as a team space. A team space gets created and um, as so here where you can create different kind of workflows by providing a new agentic workflow and providing your objective. Now, once this objective is provided based on whatever the objective is, there is an agentic backbone which triggers and it identifies how many agents needs to be created and what all their task would be and what all configuration it would require. And based on that, it gives you a series of agents that will require or work in tandem to perform a particular objective. So here, so this two of the workflows I've tried to create, would want to show them. So one is this particular workflow, if you see, and this is how the instructions it would take, is that just giving a very simple English instructions that create an agent that reads Outlook and read the most recent email with subject a service request, read and analyze the service request email, extract shipping details, information, and source and destination. Based on that, it'll identify what all things are required, what all documents need to be provided, and then reply it back. So this is the first kind of workflow that generally, typically, when a customer provides or asks for queries, this can be handled through that. So for that, it has created kind of four different agents. So one kind of it does a email reading, shipping detail extractor, additional information. It does research on that. So now this research we can provide saying that these documentation, what is required, these are very much within our knowledge repository, go and use there. Or if something is not around, then you can also say that these are specific places where you can look at, maybe go to the web or maybe go to this particular domains and get those information from there, and then collate it and kind of reply back. So this I've just, for the time purpose, I've run these things. And so this is the email that has has been provided. So I've created it for a dummy demo purpose. So this is the email that has come in. It has read from the Outlook. I have a shipment to ship from Bangalore to San Francisco, California. And this is away cosmetic items of 500 units. So please let me know what to do. So it has read and extracted these information, the source, destination, item, quantity, and then it triggers the next agent, which basically identifies the shipping details, key informations, and what is the weight. All these are required parameters. So it identifies that. And these are because it's a US shipment, so what all informations are required, it does find out from additional information research what all things would be required. So these are the transportation methods. It will ask back saying that do you have any kind of preference of that necessary documents, that commercial invoice would be required, certification of origin, all these things. These documents would be required. Regulations and standards, these are different. So this is basically based on the request that has come. It has done a research on that and it has created that. And then it has done a email formation. So basically this is the email it has created. These are the necessary documents. These are the different regulations. So it kind of send this email. So basically, this is the email which I have got here. So now this particular thing, this can be very easily changed, tweaked. For example, I can go here. So this just to show you how it happens. So these particular agent, these are the instructions. It automatically gets created, and we can go and tweak these instructions as well. So it basically looks at the connect to Outlook account, read the most recent email with this particular request. So you can actually edit those, add those. So basically, this is the first attempt done by the agentic builder. You can always improvise that, change that, add that to make it work very custom. So, and also it identifies that there is an Outlook mention. That's why this is the connector that needs to be configured. So you can configure with, I've configured with my Outlook. There are a lot of other connectors that are already available and which can be used. So similarly, it does, if there is a web involved, then it does that. So now next is that, so once these information is sent, then typically customers would be providing all the documents, and it provides like either a zip file with the documents further. And once that comes in, it triggers this workflow where it reads that, then information it extracts, and then it tries to verify the documents if there is a mismatch or anything missing from there. So if you look at, this is the final output, what it is showing. It has tried to compare the incoming documents uh, with the templates and what is required, and if there is any discrepancy, it has found. So it has kind of tried to identify what all information is there, what is the address, destination address, what is the and what is the number of packages, what is about it, what is the weight, all those things. So it has looked at all the documents and it could identify some of the discrepancies. Like for example, weight discrepancy, the document list both gross and net weight to be 50 mg. So there's uh, that seems to be a maybe some issue with that for a shipment of 100 units. So it is able to recognize that some of the dates looks like the dates are missing, and it is able to identify that. So basically, if you really look at it, what it's trying to do is, if there's been lot of effort goes in making sure that all these documentations are proper, appropriate based on the shipment, and this is one thing that which this particular workflow is able to identify and make sure that it is accurate. Now, the same thing, if the destination changes, maybe if it becomes to somewhere in Europe, so the requirements would be different. It will be able to identify that, create a plan accordingly. Similarly, these are the sample workflows that I've tried to create. But the whole point I'm trying to mention here is that you can create any of the objectives. So you can classify certain information. You can then kind of interact with a freight management or maybe a transport system, kind of connect to their API through their API and book a particular shipment and then send it back to the sender who for a particular calendar invite what time they will be picking it up. So all these automation can, at the same time, there's another aspect. What is possible is that moment we connect with real-time data, and if there is a IoT based information, if there is a real-time data coming in, based on that, we can provide, there are workflows can be created through which it can provide the health of the systems, where exactly it is in. If there is a particular shipment is kind of stuck somewhere, is there something that needs immediate attention, or there could be a probable scenario where there should be a route change required. So all these can be built here. So that's kind of pretty much which I wanted to show. And some of the other things that wanted to show here is that if, as we are seeing here, you can also provide feedback or saying that this particular information extraction is not satisfactory, then what is it? So you can actually mention that. So this goes back into the training so that it can learn back and uh, give you next time it can get adjusted. So, so yeah, means kind of these are some of the uh, you know day-to-day workflows that can be created. Also, you can create very complicated, complex workflows where AI models, kind of disparate system information, domain-centric knowledge can all work together. Okay. So Vanshika, so probably, and thanks for the time, Vanshika. I'd probably request you to share me if there is any questions or anything.
Great, great, great. Thank you so much, Gautam, and thank you everyone for being such patient listeners. Now the stage is all yours, guys. You can drop in your questions if you have anything. Please feel free to unmute yourself. Gautam, we already have a question that has come up from Pradeep that's in the chat.
Mhm.
He's asking if you could explain a bit more about the private cloud GG installations.
Right. So yeah, so private cloud installation, we can, it could be anywhere. If you create it could be a Azure private cloud, it could be Amazon private cloud. So the whole uh, platform can be installed and can be, served there, primarily if because there is a we have seen few customers coming in and asking for a private cloud deployment, primarily because of the data privacy and they don't want to expose anything. But and then that's where once we deploy it in private cloud, we do manage the cloud infrastructure as well. We can help doing that. And then the integration with the systems of your systems will be a lot more straightforward and easier. Otherwise, we do use the DMZ layer to connect to some of this um, more secured environment. So in this private cloud environment, we will be deploying all our platform code and we will make it run for that particular organization. So yeah, I mean, so I said LLMs too. So basically, no, not it depends. So some of the in private cloud, primarily some of the LLMs that depends on if we are creating something very specific for the organization, that can be plugged in there. Otherwise, you know, either we'll be using kind of one of the available LLMs that is available, either GPT or maybe any of them, or in that scenario, some of the trained LLMs that we have created, they will get connected. But the whole private cloud installation, what it will is that all the documents will not be sourced back to us.
Great. Pradeep, if you have any other question, you can maybe unmute yourself. And in that case,
Yes,
anybody
that's
else
great.
also? Yeah, you
That's
can.
great. Already I got my answers. Thank you very much, Sham. And
Yep. Thank you.
Great. Anybody else who has any questions, please feel free.
so thank you, Vanchika. Thank you, Sham. I'll be leaving. Nice weekend to everyone.
Thanks,
Thank
Pradeep.
you.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Bye-bye.
Waiting for others in case you have any question, everyone. It's your space. You can ask anything. And moreover, Gojist as a tool is not just limited to logistics. It's an oasis of different opportunities. If you have any other use case also, the tool is compatible for anything. Any problem that you have in mind will build a solution. So any question while you're working also, you have, there's a particular task that you feel like you're not able to do, we would have a solution for that as well. Gautam, if you'd like to add upon what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure. Means I have already touched upon different verticals and different domain that we have kind of tried to touch upon and come up with solutions. So anything that is which can be which is looks repetitive, but it needs a decision making ability or a planning activity, or which needs a domain centric knowledge, which otherwise a regular workflow automation cannot do, that is where it can help, and it can you can build that scenario. And also, typically we ourselves within our organization, we use Gujis for different purposes. Just to touch upon some of them, the whole hiring process is we have automated, um, you know, kind of sales and lead enrichment process. Also, we use Gucci's primarily for a lot of research related activities. We use in our dev environment, a lot of our discussions and research, we use Gucci's to help us and assist us. So there is a lot of different departments in an organization. Functions can be really become more, lot more efficient using agents. So that is where we can work on.
Great, great, great. I don't think so anybody has any other question up till now. Um, the space is all open, guys, in case you have anything. Feel free to drop it here, or Gautam, you can even drop your email ID if anybody
Yeah,
wants to.
sure.
Yes,
Will send my email.
you can add it in the chat, and I'll also personally, all of you would get an email right after the webinar. So you can connect there in case you're shy enough to ask a question here. You have your space there. You can even privately have a conversation with Gautam to understand your specific use case. So the tool can work specifically for you. That's also completely dependent upon how you want the tool to work. Great. I don't think so anybody has any other question. Gautam has already dropped his email ID. You guys can use that, ping him for any question, anything that you have. And I think we can end the session, Gautam.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot for your patient hearing, and have a great weekend.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone. Have a really great weekend. Thank you so much.